Good afternoon, everybody. It is June 16th, and we are just trying to get our radio broadcast going as well. Welcome to the show. My name is Jason. No camera today, but it's probably for the best, right? We are going to be taking a look at the overall markets, and I'm going to start off really quickly by looking at QQQ for you scalpy people heading into the end of the day. Last 45 minutes left. We're seeing a little bit of a sell-off after a low of day flush, and what we're looking for is some short-term exhaustion after the sellers have had their fill of that sweet profit taking action. So we go to the 15-minute time frame. We can see that our little red line here is active. That's a 15-minute back burner. That's a signal that kicks off when we have an overwhelmingly bullish trend on multiple time frames, and then we get our first real quick initial selling pressure. So that is coming in. We have a low of afternoon dip at 367.51 yesterday, which is lining up with our 15-minute back burner on our QQQ. So we don't know if we're going to reach that level. We don't know if the price is going to actually hit the back burner or the back burner may turn off. But what we do know is that right now at this moment, we're seeing selling pressure that is overextending the very, very short-term time frames. We're 2 minutes oversold, or 5 minutes oversold. And we're waiting for a trend change to signal when that selling pressure is released. And once that is released, we have the opportunity, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. We have the opportunity for bulls to try to carve out a little bit of profit in the upside direction in the last 45 minutes of the day. So playing price action, what are we looking for? We are looking for a trend change. Right now, we need the bulls to prove that intent by breaking over 368.89 on the Qs. We see the same thing over here on NQ. In fact, in that little perspective, it looks a lot more dramatic to the downside. Let's go back to the QQQ. Let's see if we got our back burners. Are those going to work? Yes, we got ourselves a back burner play as well. In this case, we're going to look for 368.57 to show us that that selling pressure, that pattern of behavior that has led us to this moment, has abated a little bit. Quickly over to the NQ now. Looking for the same action here. We're looking for a stair-step pattern to end with a break of 15.301. And we're going to be looking for some peppy little bull volume. So if we break our 15.301 or whatever the related number is on the Qs, that's great. That's a signal that the stair step has broken. We still need a higher high, higher low to change the 2-minute trend. And we want to see some bull volume building up for the bulls to show that vote, that commitment to direction. And a good example of using volume to find commitment to direction, if we go look at XLE as a quick lesson, look what happens up here. We get a 5-minute double top. We get an 81.25. So here's our high, higher low, double top, caution, red flag, equilibrium, bear break on volume, cascade down. And in retrospect, that was a signal, one of the other signals, XLY, in a somewhat similar configuration, not as drastic, but a pickup of volume on the drop, signaling when QQQ starts to lose its low of day. So pretty interesting in retrospect how all those things correlate and come together. But in the chart guys room here, we were watching Apple, we were watching AI, we were watching Qs, we were watching for the volume on the flushy break, and it certainly came into play. What was the direction? We have no idea. We just anticipate and react, right? Oh, wow. Big response on the Q. So that's a good big response on AI. AI had this 15-minute bear flag. And we were watching that as one of our signals, and it looks like they're getting a little bit of bounce. So there's that volume coming in. Can QQQ break the 5-minute stair-step pattern? I need that to happen before I'm going to be looking at any longer-term type strength. Okay, now with that quick introduction over with, let's get situated and let's introduce the show. So I think I've already introduced myself. My name's Jason. Usually I'm on the camera, but I haven't set it up yet. A lot going on here. A lot of secret stuff happening in the Chart Guys background this week. And for some of you guys, hopefully by the end of the day, you'll have a nice surprise on the .com. But we'll see what happens. There's always a few bugs left at the day where you get excited to do something. But that's all I want to say today, until we actually have something more. So let's take a look at the goals of the weekly wrap-up show. So on the weekly wrap up, what we want to do here is take a look at our overall indices and get a sense of direction and prepare us for going into the next week. And the reason for that is it helps us gauge and plan what types of trades we're going to be looking for. Are we going to be looking for hourly lower highs because some major trends have been broken? Are we going to be looking for some steady daily consolidation to follow through those lower highs? Or are these initial pullbacks just going to be a little bit of a quick series of profit taking, and can we expect more upside to follow? Those are the types of questions that we're going to look for. All right, QQQ, 5-minute stair-step break. That's nice. That's nice volume on that 5-minute candlestick. That's the type of thing we want to see. Have we changed any trends yet? Nope. What do we need to do? We need to break our 368.89. We want to see volume continue up because we still have not changed this overall 2-minute downtrend. So for bulls to retake control and have some potential for follow through into the end of the day, the clearest demarcation of that is going to be a higher high over this level and a higher low, giving us that little inverse head and shoulders pattern. We want to see that contributed, or we want to see higher volume contribute to that play. All right, so far so good. Let's step back and let's take a look at the larger time frames for our major indices. We're also going to take a look at Bitcoin because it's been doing some fun today. We're going to take a look at some of the AI names, and we're going to save a little time to take a look at some of the ticker requests and questions that you guys might have. So if you do have any of those, you're more than welcome to throw them in the chat, and hopefully I won't let, ramble on too long here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clear my charts. Well, it's on the NQ. We're going to clear our charts here. Oh, NQ, nice. Okay, so here's an important thing. When we're correlating our QQQs to our NQs, I'm always watching and paying more attention to my futures charts for my NQ, my ES, to my QQQ and SPY, because their levels are the ones that actually matter. Now, if you don't have access to futures, you can look at the CFDs. It's SPX 500 USD is the SPY version, and NAS 100 USD is the QQQ version. Those are available on TradingView on most packages without having to buy the futures data. But here's an example where on the NQ, we have a 2-minute higher high, just barely. At least it looks that way. Yeah, just barely we do. By what? By what level? 13.15, 13.15.25. Yeah, 25-cent bull break. Cool. That does increase the likelihood of a higher low here. But if we go to our Qs, do we have it as well? Are we that lucky? Or is it a double top? 89 cents, 89 cents, right? So a little tidbit, a very small tidbit of information, but that information does matter because it does make a difference. The threshold was broken here that otherwise would have been a very clear and concrete double top. Is it a massive signal? Does it make a massive difference? Not huge, but it does matter. And that's why we have to watch for it. Okay, back to zooming out. Well, we're going to clear the chart here, and we're going to zoom out to the weekly time frame. The question now is set. The question that we want to ask ourselves is, when are we due for daily consolidation? When are we due for weekly consolidation? And are we due now? The daily or the weekly time frame on the NQ is overbought. We've had a pretty triumphant run, and we're starting to hear a lot more about the bull market being back and like what recession, right? we're doing just fine. We've been talking about that for a while now, at least a month or two, about how the narrative between being in a recession is suddenly going to change. And what we need to consider is, are we in some sort of bear market rally, or is this a bull market? And so far, my colleagues over at TheChartGuys generally are leaning toward it not being a rally in a bull market. So that's great. Longer term, this chart generally goes up, right? And we've had a pretty protracted period of downturn. It was a whole year, a year in your life right there, okay? So are we due for weekly consolidation? Yes, we are. We have had a lot of strength on the weekly time frame. We've had a very, very strong move. Our RSI is overbought. It doesn't particularly matter. But if we were to see some trends coming down and setting weekly higher lows, that would very much fit the bill for the natural evolution of the market. So we have to expect that the market is going to find its ways and means to continue the modus operandi. I don't know why I went with that new word. That was a bold choice. we're going to expect the market to continue exhibiting its price action in the way it always has. And there's no reason for us to believe that we're going to continue straight up. We're going to be cautious. We're going to be bullish, but we're going to be cautious for the signs of weakness coming in. And on the weekly time frame, just as we just looked at on the QQQ 5-minute time frame, we're going to be watching for the pattern of behavior to change with the loss of consecutive higher lows on each of these little candlesticks. That is going to be the first time, right, where we can say definitively, and this is my favorite part about like just technical analysis, using price action, using levels. You and I don't need to argue about the shape of a flag or the patterns or trend lines when we can look at a price level and say to each other, has the price been lower than last week's low or not? It either has or hasn't. It's a truth. We can't deny it. So we can also agree that we have collectively been forming these higher lows. And once that pattern is over, daily consolidation, because we're looking at the weekly, is clearly underway. Then we will look for lower highs on the daily time frame, and then we will look for weekly higher lows to be set. So a lot of moving parts right now. Anything above 28,000, nope, 12,800 is going to be a weekly higher low. So weekly higher lows are expected. No signs of them showing up yet on the weekly time frame. All right, so weekly's bullish, very, very bullish. Daily time frame, very, very strong here as well. There is that weekly stair step low, so that's the low of Monday's action, steady climb. We are looking for daily consolidation. We are looking for daily higher lows, and we get to play the stair step game again. We get to go all the way up to yesterday's low, and in fact, we will be able to use today's low on Tuesday. Are the futures markets open on Monday? Yeah, just a reminder that the stock market is closed on Monday. But we will use whatever the low is to indicate when we have a daily stair-step pattern. So we're starting to see a little bit of hourly consolidation. And jumping back to our cues for that frame of reference. Here's that hourly time frame. We still have hourly higher lows. Some will debate that these are hourly levels. But ultimately, if we zoom out and we just look at these overall higher low trends, we're looking for hourly higher low above 362.85, and should we hit a flush and bounce back up, that's the level that the hourly time frame players are going to be watching more than anything else. They're also going to be very cautious about a lower high under 372.85 because that will be a higher high, lower high after a 15-minute / hourly support level loss. All right, back to the NQ hourly time frame now. There's our high, because we've lost our, here's another example. This is important. I should be following my own recommendations. Look at the difference in the hourly time frame. Hourly time frame for the Qs does not tell a clear, coherent story, but on the NQ time frame or the NQ chart, it certainly does. There is a far more clear hourly low, a shift in power between the bulls and the bears back to the bulls, and then that hourly level is lost. So have we set an hourly downtrend yet? No. We still have a higher high and we have a low, but we're going to be cautious about a lower high into daily consolidation. So if we see a daily trend or the hourly trend move back up and then come back down to lose this level, that will be the stair step pattern broken. And that will signify more daily consolidation. That's what the bears are going to be watching. How come you can't find the back burner indicator? Because it's a TheChartGuys thing. We made it and we released it to TheChartGuys members last year. It's on our website. You can go get, if you search for TheChartGuys back burner, you should find it. There's YouTube videos about it and things like that. Yeah. So hourly back burners are active. We are looking for hourly higher lows. We're looking for that flush, very aggressive chart. As I said, the back burner tells us when the chart has been very aggressive and it finds levels at which we would expect to see multiple oversold conditions resulting in very, very strong bounces. Let's go take a look at the Qs real quick. Do we get anywhere with that high? Still looking for a 2-minute high or low. So this is where the bulls really need to decide what they're going to do with the next half hour. Are we going to go sideways, or are we going to take a little bit of an attempt to rally up and get some of those sweet, sweet options with the last half hour of the day, ramping up the insanity? All right, let's go take a look. Well, let's wrap up. What are we looking for on NQ? What have we decided today? We are open to consolidation. on the daily time frame. But we also know that the hourly bulls have not given up complete control. So we've been looking for hourly lower highs. And should we see a back burner on Monday, should we see our stair step break on Monday or Tuesday, we will be looking for lower highs to continue that trend. And it'll be up to the bulls to change back with a higher high on the hourly time frame. All right, let's take a look at the ES. ES on the weekly time frame, no surprise to see big green candlesticks here. We are just clipping into overbought territory. We are well above resistance and a good ways away from our other resistance levels here on the ES weekly chart. On the daily time frame, we have a daily stair step pattern as well, so same rules apply. What I do like here in particular is our lower volume. If we were to close exactly here, it would be a good opportunity for the bulls in the sense the larger volume on the way up gives way to a lower volume red day. If we saw significant bearish volume voting in the direction of this consolidation, that would be a little bit more of a precursor warning for more consolidation to come. But if we have a low volume, low vote, price action move, that's good for the bulls in that sense. Daily time frame, we have support at 43.93.75. And on the hourly time frame, very similar structure. Hourly level, support level lost with an hourly higher high preceding it. So we are looking for a bounce into an hourly lower high. And from there, we'll get a little bit more sense of direction here. Bulls ideally would have set a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low. We'd be feeling a little bit better about that. That would give us a bull flag configuration. But the fact that we get up here and we lost that level, combined with the profit taking that we're seeing, increases the likelihood of lower highs here and more consolidation for a bit of a daily higher low. And we're going to be cautious here on the daily higher low attempts, because anytime we start nicking out these support levels on the way down, we have opportunity for day side players to start triggering some stop losses. And if you stack several of those together very closely, let's say we opened here on Monday or Tuesday, and we knock out 1, 2, 3, 4 support, or yeah, 1, 1, 2, 3. I can count all the way to 5. I swear to God. We can see multiple days of stop losses getting triggered, which has the potential to give us a little bit of a flush. And again, we're just looking for daily higher lows. So that would actually be the ideal situation for the bulls, to have that daily consolidation, rest, knock out support level flush, lack of follow through, big old juicy daily higher low. And that would be gorgeous. On the hourly time frame, as I said, what we would need to see for that to happen would be an hourly lower high, lower low loss. Whatever this low becomes is very likely to be the stair step trigger that we need to see for further downside. All right. Triple witching is scary. It's super scary. All right, let's go check out YM. YM weekly time frame looking great. Big weekly higher lows, chewing through a bit of this resistance, 34,551. Haven't really closed over it yet. Very little time left to worry about it. But we also have a little bit of opportunity for this to be a wedge. So if we do get into some consolidation, we're going to be looking for weekly higher lows regardless. Daily time frame, big daily higher lows right here. So just looking for something over 34,086. Daily time frame looking strong. And on the hourly time frame, we're seeing a similar pattern of behavior where our lows gave way to higher highs, but that support level has been lost, increasing the likelihood of what? Lower highs and an hourly confirmed trend change into daily consolidation. So yesterday, Dan's big message, if you saw the video, or if you were in the chart, guys, was to, consider taking some hedges. If you're not taking profits on your long positions, we're pretty extended. It's a good opportunity for us to be taking some protective measures against our long positions, be it a little bit of profit taking or hedging. And hedging is really it's something that not a lot of people do. And it's really unfortunate, because if you do it correctly, you lose no money, you lose opportunity. And instead of scaling in and out of positions, you allow yourself to maintain positions, and really all it costs you is a little bit of price action opportunity. Okay, my best friend over here, Russell. We're going to take a look at him. Russell on the weekly time frame doing pretty well. Another solid green week outside of its black or box of death. And realistically, I should get rid of that, but it's here for a good lesson. Daily time frame is doing just fine. Daily higher lows here. We have a daily low from yesterday's trading action coming in as a big daily higher low as well, but most clearly a big hourly level. Here we have hourly high, higher low, higher high, and then a little bit more significant pullback. So I'm going to be watching the Russell in particular if we see a loss of our 1876, because it just tends to be a bit more bearish here. The collective small group of companies is a little bit more fearful. Everyone likes to rotate into the big boys for the moves up and not necessarily rotate out of the small companies, but they're a little bit more prone to seeing the last of the action and the first of the fear, right? So if we see a break of 1876, 1860, then we have our high, higher high, and a daily trend change loss into some weekly consolidation. So we've talked a little bit about weekly consolidation on the ES and the NQ. Just as we saw our final burst of strength here in the Russell, let's invert that and let's say, hey, if we lose the daily uptrend on the Russell, that's our first real nick or check mark into considering a daily trend change into weekly consolidation for our other indices. Something to consider and keep in mind. Do we have a hedging education video? No, but it should definitely make one. Yeah. That's a great idea. That's a really good idea. I think I can put that together. DH, do you have any, like, what type of questions, or anyone listening, what type of questions would you have or want answered in a hedging video? Like, what is it, how to do it, the mechanics of it, different strategies for hedging, different like tools in the sense, like, I guess, different instruments for hedging. What can I answer for you? What do you want to see in that particular video, buddy? Christoph, you can take any question and put it into a full course. That's one thing I've learned. I've started several courses with the intention, like, no, hold on. I've started making like several videos that have just gone so in depth. And my manner of research is quite annoying in the sense that I tend to want to know everything about a topic and then I scale back. But if I go too far, then suddenly I have 50 pages of notes and I'm trying to make a 10-minute video. And then I'm like, well, this could be a course. Should it be a course? And then we sort of get overwhelmed. But maybe we'll just stick with the 10-minute intro. Yeah, I'll put that together. Let me see what I can cook up for you. All right. So we've talked about the NQ, we've talked about the Russell, the ES. Let's go take a look at YM. Over research, over analyze. That's the name of the game. That's actually how I got started in technical analysis, really. Like, I started wanting to learn about the stock market, and then I realized pretty quickly that it's shady, super shady, and I have no control over pretty much anything, which is not something that I like. And then I realized I can control everything that I know about technical analysis, and technical, like, price levels do not lie. They are there, they're permanent. So because they don't lie, the only form of control that I can have over the financial markets is my understanding of them. Therefore, I need to learn everything that I can about technical analysis. And it's spun out of control, and I'm still learning, and I can't handle it. Well, I can, but it just involves more crazy talking to my internet friends. That's where I ended up. You're going to take your CMT or your CFT. Cool. I've studied the heck out of the books. Just never, like, at this point, I don't know if there's a benefit to me taking the exams. I thought about doing some other certifications. Now I'm going on a tangent. Nobody wants that. Let's take a look at, do we do YM yet? No. YM weekly time frame. We're going to speed run this one weekly. weekly high or lows. I feel like I've done it already. In fact, I have. All right. Checking back in on the QQQs. 2-minute time frame has gone bullish. Good. We didn't get our 15-minute back burner, but we did get that 5-minute stair step, which showed us the pattern of behavior break into 2-minute higher lows and higher highs. Bulls trying to reshift the day. Is this a bear flag? I don't think so. The reason I don't think it's a bear flag is if we go and look at our internals, we just haven't seen a lot of outright bear control today. So our internals are one of the utilities that can tell us, what is QQQ doing compared to the rest of the tickers that are on the entire NASDAQ exchange. And let's say there are 4,000 tickers on the exchange. QQQ only is representative of 100 of those. So it's kind of like knowing what the quality of the water is your fish is swimming in when you're trying to catch them. This is telling us that the bears, despite the very, very strong bear move we have today, aren't in outright bearish control of the market. The exchange, I should say. We would have our ADD in the 2000s, like we saw over here, right? Very strong close yesterday. And look at our tick compared. Strong build. If we saw bears in control, we'd expect a very, very strong bear build, and we just don't see that today. Oh, I've lost it now. So what I was actually expecting was a flush under the low of day and a bit of a bounce back up. And then we saw a 2-minute trend change. There was a bunch of things lining up that were suggestive that we were going to get that, but we kick off a little bit of selling pressure. Ultimately, we hit that exhaustion point. And because we had the internals not outright bearish, we were looking for a little bit more opportunity, more likelihood of a good bounce on our 2-minute break whenever that did occur. Now we go to the 15-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame, we're looking for an EMA touch. And ideally, we'll get up to our EMA 12 before I would start taking a look at some profit taking on that bounce potential. But if you did manage to get into this bounce, always shave off a little bit for protection. Make sure that you're scaling in and out. It's going to be your secret to success, I promise, of trading and success in the markets, is the ability to scale in and to scale out of profitable trades. And 2-minute time frame is bullish at this point. More bull volume coming in than bear volume. Over on the EA side of things, similar structure. All right. I did say we're going to look at Bitcoin. Classic tangent. Thanks, bud. True, though. Bitcoin on the daily time frame. All right. So, a lot of fun in the Bitcoins today. Ooh. Where'd you come from? I don't remember drawing you. So this is an interesting example of pattern development. I've got this pattern here that I drew some time ago. I'm assuming I just connected these two dots. Now we flushed under that level and we bounced back up. So I have to adapt to it. Now we've got ourselves a channel. Cool. Very cool. So what does that do for me? Ultimately, I will be looking for, if we get back down here, we see another flush of that low, it's going to add a little check mark to, can I justify a long position here? We've developed a pattern where we've been repeating ourselves over and over and over again, that this is a place where historically, if we regress back, we'll find ourselves buying the dip. Cool. Daily time frame, 1-2 candlesticks. It's really all about the hourly bulls right now. So if we look at it, I want to call it a bull flag, but it really isn't. I'm looking for one up here. Here we see significant hourly consolidation sideways, no real decisions being made. Flush and bulls bought up everything. So big snap up, and we see our hourly stair-step pattern, hourly highs up here, and we are at risk of establishing stair-step pattern bear break. Now what I want to see here is a loss of that level and then an hourly bull flag to form up. I do not want it to prolong, like just sort of dawdle out like this. I hate those types of patterns. They get in, for me, if I'm like looking at a flag or a pattern and it just goes sideways like this, I tend to just exit the trade. If I can get break even, which you usually can because you end up range trading, I'll get out of it because I'm not correct. I anticipated a bull break or a bear break, and we're just going sideways, which means my initial thesis isn't correct. And I would rather wait to plan and re-enter a trade that I have more control over. I don't care if it goes bull eventually. If my thinking is we will continue here and instead we do it over here, that doesn't mean I was right. It's just like if you buy a stock before earnings and it goes up because of good earnings, you are not a good trader because of that. You just got lucky. And I don't like to get lucky. I just want to be correct. Sean's asking what my style of day trading is. I've had so many back and forth, my man. Right now, I'm primarily just swinging. I've been so swamped with chart guys hidden developments behind the scenes, and frankly life threw me a real curveball the last year, and I converted basically from day trading to not trading to getting slowly back into swing trading. And I only do stocks. Futures are a heck of a amount of trouble for me. It's a Canadian. I've never really figured them out, and crypto is just a nightmare now. So it is easier for me, for tax purposes, just to be an ETF swing trader. Stocks. You got it. Favorite setups, bull flags, descending wedges, and rotation on balance days. Bitcoin, looking for that. I want to see that flush. I want to see 26,247 lose out, a bounce back up. And this is the nice part is I don't need to get into it on the loss of that level. I want to watch for the pattern to develop. This is one of my favorite plays, looking for that pattern to develop. So what we would look for, we would see a lower high here, okay? And the likelihood of this playing out the way we want it to play out is not very high. But that's the beauty of waiting for trades to come to us that we're comfortable with. I'm comfortable with a play if we reverse here or here. I don't really care where it happens. Come down, we flush, and then we lose the level. Then I say, okay, this looks more like a bull flag. I'm comfortable with this trade. If we have the volume in a similar structure with low volume on the way down, then I would look at getting into a 5-minute trend change with a nice stop loss, something I can control in anticipation of that being a big old hourly bull flag, or 15-minute in this case. Okay, Ethereum, seeing similar strength. It's got a lot more work to do in the daily time frame. We're also going to be looking for an hourly bull flag up here, but hourly stair step is active. If we see a strong flush on the 50-minute time frame, when we lose those hourly levels, that is going to negate our flag potential. But you know what? Right now, this looks pretty good. Nice little 15-minute bounce. We want to see continued lower highs and lower lows. All right. What is my hedge for the upcoming weeks? I would be something like SQQQ. Yep. Just something simple. Something simple. All right, let's go take a look at Apple for Sean Ramirez. So Apple on the daily time frame, still setting consistent daily higher lows. Cannot decide on what today's low is going to be yet, and I think we're going to be trying to figure that out for the next 12 minutes. I missed that. All right, so we don't have a stair-step pattern, but we do have a big old trend. And that big old trend shows up pretty well here on the hourly time frame. We drew this last week. How did we draw it? Because I lost the chart. I don't want to remember. We talked about, I think it was, shoot. All right. Well, I'm just going to try and draw the chart how I would draw it. And we'll see if it was correct. Yeah. So basically, like trying to pick the lowest of the reds. Hopefully something correlates together, and then I want to use that assumed parallel line, draw it up to a green high, and then I want to make sure that it is in agreement with some other areas of resistance. You know what? We are here. All right. So this is one of the things that I would use to watch a little canary in the coal mine for the rest of our names, because Apple's such a hefty boy, right? Just a big bully in the playground. All the other kids are going to want to follow him. He's the cool kid. So if we see a change in pattern here and we start to break under this, that's great. That's fine. I'm going to look for a flush to hourly oversold. Then I'm going to look for an hourly lower high. And then I would anticipate that that pattern that we talked about on SPY and QQQ is going to follow suit because, well, Apple is such a huge part of the QQQ anyway, right? So until that happens, we are going to assume that we've got ourselves a possibility of holding this trend. All right, robots coming in. We have double bottom low of day, big initial spike. Bulls are trying to hold on to this low. And you know what? If we opened a little bit higher on Tuesday and we came back down, I would scale into an initial trend change bullish down here. Because I have to assume that we're going to try to continue what we have been doing for some time. All right. So we're going to have opportunities on Tuesday for that to happen. We don't need to get in now. Anything can happen over the weekend. Who knows? Maybe the VR goggles that they released turn out to be garbage and cost $15,000 instead of $3,000, and we're all in trouble. JAS. Oh, that's not your name. Jace wants to look at SOFI. You got it. Flash out NVIDIA. Let's go look. I'm not surprised to see some profit taking. What's interesting is AI is going in the complete opposite direction. But still, look how strong this is. Who's not going to want to take some profits before the long weekend, right? I think you'd be crazy not to. All right, SOFI for a swing long. All right, so weekly time frame, not great. This is not good. It's not good to look. All right. I used to work at a bar, and we'd have these guys come in, and then we normal people, and then there would be people who just didn't look quite right. You knew something was off. This is sort of the vibe that I get. And this we call a big old shooting star candlestick. Essentially, this wick tells us that we did really well, but we just crumbled. So right now, we have to ask ourselves, are we in the state of crumble? Are we still heading down? Do we have momentum? And that's the difference between a hammer candlestick. A hammer says, hey, we're weak, but we're back. This says, we're strong, but we suck. Okay? So we have to ask ourselves, are we in a state of suck or not? And we're still in a state of suck. So we've lost our hourly or daily stair step up. We see that we have a momentum high that failed and we dropped back down. So we got to look for probably, well, we're going to see if we change the hourly trend in here or if this is one big old hourly swing. But we need to see a trend change to get a daily higher low, which is expected here. So we'll go to the hourly. Yeah, this is what I like to see. Big hourly swings gave way to an hourly downtrend. So I want to see this hourly trend change in my yellow box of interest. Nice little back burner pop there. And maybe we draw it out in the 15, maybe we don't. But I like it for a swing long on an hourly trend change inside this box on Tuesday. Right now, hourly bear is in control. We haven't established that daily high or low. Thoughts on HTF bull flag? What time frame? You tell me what time frame, and I'll do Goog first for DH. And then I'll do these the YouTubes. Thanks for watching YouTube, guys. I'm not usually used to hearing Lori in the morning, and I am watching the Lori show as well. Don't watch Dan too often anymore. But I appreciate you tuning in on a Friday afternoon. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm really curious to see how far away my voice is hearing on this insane platform. On daily time frame for the Goog. Daily sideways consolidation. Range trading. Not super impressed with it. Right? We're just sort of boxing up. Hourly time frame. Yeah. There's not a lot of clarity on this chart. So because we have been range trading, we're going to be looking for entries down here. We're going to let the bears do their thing. I'm not going to touch them. Play in the direction of the weakness. And we are seeing some substantial weakness coming in now. Yikes. Guess it was a bear flag, wasn't it? More profit taking into the end of the day. Let me check my... So Josh just posted IWM breaking correlation. So let's go see. Interesting. Where were we? The Goog. Yeah. So 5 minutes left in the day. I don't think there's enough opportunity here to play anything. If we see continued weakness or the sentiment of continued weakness into next week and we open low, then I'll be looking for hourly trend changes back up, assuming we're still inside that range. All right, HFT on the daily time frame. Sure. HTF. Nope. Thoughts on... Oh, I get it. No, I don't get it. Thoughts on HTF bull flag. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific. Have I tried trading using the wealth symbol? Nope. I've heard nothing good about it. Like, well, I've heard that for trading, it does not give you the most optimal positions. And frankly, if I'm going to be trading on zero fees, I'm going to be scalping. I'm going to be a crazy scalpy boy. Because that's what I love to do. I just don't like paying fees for it. All right, let's check out some tickers inside the YouTube chat. Oh, where are you from? Richie Rich is from Kelowna. My brother lives in Kelowna. Sorry about that, Richie. You probably smelled him in the lineup at Costco. He'd be the gross one. Hector's from Colombia. That's cool. And Christoph's from Vancouver Island. I'm from Vancouver, buddy. We should yell at each other from across the water there. All right, we got a request for spot from Justin. Whoa. Spots, like, I don't care. People are playing all sorts of, I don't even know who's a trending artist right now. I'm so out of touch with music. I'm still listening. I'm probably like you. Are you listening to the same playlist that you had in high school? And you're like, yeah, this is still good music. We don't even need to listen to the same music, but we're in the same position, right? 160.06. This is an impressive run on Spotify, right up against a weekly resistance. Pretty interesting. Daily time frame coming up against resistance. So fine. Bulls are clearly in control. They very clearly in control. I don't know what the narrative is behind this, but this is something that we'll be looking for back burners on Monday. Hourly time frame hasn't given up anything, so we're going to look for gap ups. We're going to look for sell-offs and profit taking. We're going to look for initial first blood bounces and then equilibriums to follow. So I would not advise getting into a long position here. And if you've got any sweet profits, it's always a good idea to take a little bit. You do you, but you should be happy with today's action. Is it prime for entries right now? Nah, I don't think so, but it's certainly one to be watching for back burners on Monday. Tuesday. Someone from Switzerland? That's awesome. We actually have a couple people in the chart guys who are in Switzerland. A few, actually. Hey, Ham, let's look at AI for a swing. Don't like it. I'm watching it. I'm cursing myself for like not taking advantage of this sideways chop after the initial craziness. But I'm looking for daily higher lows. Right now with that over 35.91. I want this weakness to continue on the daily time frame. Daily stair step pattern. Hourly bear flag. Still shaping up. So for a swing short, it looks better than for a swing long. What else have we? Number one place to live in Colombia. I feel like some people would debate that, but I feel that you've got a little bit more knowledge on the topic, so I'm going to shut up. QQQ selling off into the end of the day. SPY doing the same thing, big volume, on this 15-minute candle, thanks to those robots. And there we end our week. Overall, still holding on. Bulls is still very much in control. It's all going to be about hourly lower highs next week. Until then, enjoy your long weekend. Markets are closed Monday. And I look forward to hanging out with you all again Monday morning for the midday show. So until then, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for watching from wherever you're from. And have a good weekend.